His eyes were wide and staring and devoid of light. He was gone. While they waited for the medical examiner, the mortuary van, the Socko team, there wasn't much they could say. Tanya's mind was whirling, but none of it would settle. Uppermost was the idea that he could be their only link to the person who had killed twice and abducted Jane. She went through what she could remember of their interviews with him, his difficult attitude. Had he been hiding a terrible crime? Had he known what was happening? She hadn't thought so at the time. Now she doubted her judgment. It would hardly show her in the best light if she'd been with him and had no inkling that he was any more than just a rather unpleasant character. She knew that often it was almost all instinct that pointed the way, and if she didn't have that, she would never be among the best. She went over the timeline in her head. She needed to get back and use the computer. He couldn't have been taking women from the services. He was well known to everyone who worked there. Surely someone would have said something. Okay, the second woman had gone from a different one, but Jane, she had been in the same place as Sarah. No, it wasn't possible. It was conceivable that he knew something about it all, and it was possible that guilt had driven him to do what he had done. She couldn't have missed this. Did you see a note, Charlie? Not from where I was. I didn't move anything, to be honest. I could see there was nothing to be done, and I didn't want to screw anything up. There was nothing on the dressing table. I know that for sure. There was a sort of wooden cross, and that was it. The bedside table had a clock. He closed his eyes. A book. I think it was a Bible. I don't know if there was anything on the bed. I touched him briefly, and he was so cold, stiff. I knew he was dead, so I left him. We'll just have to wait. But he might have said something in a note. Something about Jane? She stood, sudden and urgent, stepped into the hallway and shouted to the technicians whom they could hear carefully and methodically cataloguing the contents and state of his room. Charlie had followed her in. Don't close the Bible. Hello? Hey? The technician popped her head out of the bedroom. As she walked a little way down the hallway, her booties made soft noises on the fake wood. Her trouser legs rubbed together, rasping with every step. She didn't come out of the flat. What? There's a Bible on the bedside table? It's open. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Don't close it before you bag it up. I need to know what page it's open at. She turned to Charlie. I need a suit. Parked on the concrete apron was a van with a box of protective suits in the back. She grabbed one, stepped back into the hallway, and pulled it on over her clothes. The Bible was as Charlie had seen it. She bent close to peer at the tiny writing. There was a piece of paper used as a bookmark laid across the page. She had the technicians take pictures. They were defensive. We would have done it as a matter of course. It's what we do. With a huff, the woman turned away. She could tell that they thought she was overreacting to a suicide, but wasn't going to spend time explaining herself. She reached out with a gloved hand and moved the bookmark. After unfolding it, she read out the short inscription. I'm sorry, I can't face the shame. Exodus? What's that, Charlie? What's it about? About the flight from Egypt. Okay. And does that say anything about committing suicide? I know for some religions it's a big no-no. He leaned closer. I can only remember bits. I just go to church for the singing, the social stuff. Granny would know probably, but let's see. What chapter is it? Right. He tapped into his phone. We're ready to move the body now. Is there any reason why we can't? Socko said. Tanya held up a hand. Just give me another minute. Anything, Charlie? He showed her his phone. The 10 Commandments. Right, so that's about coveting goats and stuff, isn't it? What's the first one? I am the Lord thy God, and thou shalt have no other gods before me. This came from a technician who was standing beside the door to the bathroom. I studied them as part of my degree. It's difficult to see the relevance of a lot of it today, but basically it's just rules for decent behaviour, I reckon. Tanya screwed up her face. Well, that's not much help, I don't think. What else is there? He spoke again, happy to have a chance to show off a bit. I think the one that most people think of as the most important is thou shalt not kill.